Hello everybody, welcome back. I decided to actually record this for reasons unknown to myself and to all others in this universe, but just felt like I should. I mean, I recorded myself practicing parrying like the first 5 or 6 episodes. So I mean, I feel like I should record pretty much everything. Come here, asshole. Ooh, bamboozled. I'm gonna have to actually talk about something here though, because obviously I can't just like sing my charming voice through my shitty microphone at you and expect to I'm waiting for these guys to drop items and expect to just be chilling. I don't know. What should I talk about? Good at parrying now. Can't wait to immediately get fucked by this guy after I said that. Oh fuck! Hello, Mr. Cleric. Yeah, pray for that dead guy. Now the dead guy is you. If he got that cast off while being like eaten, that'd be actually salt. Ooh. Ow. I don't know what to talk about. Usually I just, you know, bitch at the game and done. Telling me I actually have to have substance for this one? That's not good. Maybe I should have thought about what I wanted to say before I started recording. Let's see. What do I want to talk about? Same with D&D campaign, but honestly, right now, players are kind of doing some weird shit that just... well, I don't know. It's just, there's not much happening yet. And I don't know how long I'm going to be grinding here. Probably a long time. I probably have plenty of time to talk about like the entire campaign so far. Sure, I'll just start with the entire campaign so far. So, new campaign, campaign 2. All the players are, you know, more experienced. We've gotten past the point where everybody's playing like elves and half-elves and humans, and got a nice collection of like fantasy races now. Let's see, what do we have? We've got Ulrich, the shifter rogue. We've got, speaking of rogues, hello fucker. We've got Arcus, the tiefling warlock. And no, that doesn't look confusing, why do you ask? We've got Nyloth, the drow bard. We have Delsin, the Azamar paladin. And we have Finnick, the dragonborn cleric. And so the campaign starts where they're all, you know, minding their own business, having a great time. Not really. But for some reason or another, all of them are accused of committing a crime. Maybe some of them did it, maybe some of them didn't, but it doesn't matter how. They're all accused of committing a crime and arrested. And from there, they are like bad crimes, not like, oh, I stole a balloon on Free Balloon Day. It's like, you know, murder or like treason or, you know, things like that. Big crimes. So they're all being sent to this prison, which is, I believe it's Dark Water Prison? I don't honestly remember. Why does that name sound familiar, actually? Is Dark Water Prison an actual thing in some game or something. I don't actually know. I random name generated it, so, but it sounds familiar now that I'm saying it out loud for the first time in a while. Maybe it's because I'm in Darkroot Garden. So they're all sent to that prison, and it's, you know, it's inescapable. It's you get branded when you go in, and it's terrible, and so they're in a lineup, and the warden and one of the people who, like, manages people there is like, you know, oh, you know, it's impossible to escape, you will, like, listen to everything we say, you know, you are like the scum of the earth, kind of deal. And, players don't know where they are, they don't know what's going on. Only one of them actually speaks the language of all these, prison wardens, and he's like, guys, shut the fuck up. Because all the others are, like, talking, like, trying to figure out what's going on. And they don't drop anything, stop it. So, they are in the lineup, and they start taking people from the line, and, like, you know, saying, oh, this person accused of this crime. Oh, this person accused of this crime. And then, eventually, they start taking people from the end of the line, and they bring them over to a forge in the corner, like a, fuck. And they start branding them with numbers on their face. And it's like, listen, you know, even if something were to happen, you get out, everybody will know that you are an absolute criminal. And so, they're all there like, oh shit, our friend Mike is about to brand our faces of our brand new characters. Like, what the fuck? Ow, fuck you. This guy's really posing a problem right now. Dude, stop. Dude, stop. Thank you. So they're all like, what the fuck do we do? Across the table. And people start getting branded. They're like screaming and, you know, I mean, a hot iron searing the flesh on your face is gonna hurt, so they're all like screaming and, you know, it's terrible. And then they hear like bells in the distance, and they're like, oh, what is that? And there is a prison break. And there's guards and everybody fighting in the main hall. Fuck, hold on. And players are like, well, time to get the fuck out of here. Alright, hold on, this guy's just fucking bludgeoning my face. So the players use the cover of the fight in the prison break, because they're only in like the holding area, to try to escape back towards the boats. And they manage to, the four of them, get on a boat. They break their handcuffs, because they, with the Dragonborn starts like breathing fire and like breaking his, and then they're like ripping them off and, you know, trying to like lockpick them. And eventually they get all of their handcuffs off, and they're carrying these large metal boxes with all their stuff in them, which they didn't know was all their stuff at the beginning. But the Bard actually took Unseen Servant and is having the Unseen Servant carry them, because he was able to find enough material components to get a spell to work in the holding room. So, as they're all sitting in the holding room, they're having their boxes carried for them, some of them, by the Unseen Servant, and, you know, they're running. Eventually they get to the docks, and they find a boat, and they're running. And as they're leaving, they're going to this, like, frigid bay area where the, like, top of the water constantly ices over, and they're running, and there's chaos on the docks, but eventually they get out of there. And they sail, and they sail, and they sail, and with some good checks, eventually they make it to the mainland, where they are able to scale a cliff and enter the desert. Large desert. And this is home of the Vastlix Empire, where they were being held prisoner. So as they are in the Vastlix Empire, they are like, well, shit, we can't go to a town, because even if, you know, they didn't brand our faces, thank you, merciful DM, for not branding me, they, you know, they are still wanted. Like, the news of the escape will get out. And as a matter of fact, the next day, as they're, you know, wandering through the desert, there's a patrol going along the shores that sees them, and they're like, oh shit. And they disguise themselves briefly as commoners before taking their guards out, with some clever usage of the sleep spell and some good planning. So from there they're able to commandeer the, like, skiff kind of thing. It's kind of like a sled. It's a combination between, like, a Red Dead carriage and, like, with, like, skis on the bottom of it. Dude, what are you doing? What? What is he doing? Alright, I made him mad. And it's pulled by these giant beetles that are native to this desert. So, they're able to commandeer that after killing all of them. And they're using, you know, magic and stuff to keep the Basilisk symbols off of it as they, like, pass other guards and stuff. And eventually they meet up. At this point there's only 4 of them. Eventually they meet up with their 5th party member, Delson, later on, who comes in session 2, where they find him and 2 others, a guest and an NPC, they find out in the desert. And it's like, well, shit, you know, we, you know, escaped, and the one NPC is branded. It's like, we escaped, but, you know, we don't know what to do, or, you know, cart broke down, we had to eat the beetle to survive, like, things are not going well. And, you know, we went to go find water. These 2 people, Delson and the guest, went to go find water, and sandstorm's rolling in. They look and they see Darude playing in the distance. So they are able to, you know, they're like, okay, sure, we'll go find somebody. And they go and they find the guest first, actually, which is a little bit funny. And they're like, oh, we got him. Fuck that other guy, he doesn't need saving. So eventually they get back, and by that time Delson and found his way back to the NPC Carrick. Care? No. Carrick's the name I'm finding from somewhere else. Care. Where's Carrick from? It sounds really familiar. Care, the NPC, is like, well, shit, we gotta go. There's, you know, we'll rest here and, you know, get everything ready. But we're gonna have to go, and I think our best bet is you guys go into the city, and, you know, we'll try to get some supplies, or we can head south towards Out of the Kingdom. Oh, I forgot what I was doing. Hello, sir. What was that noise? I heard a weird noise. I don't know. Anyway. So they're like, yeah, let's head south. Fuck these guys. We don't want to go to the city. And for some reason they split up for a second there. I forget exactly why. But, so they split up, and eventually they see Kara coming back. I think he went to go, like, look for food or something. I don't quite remember. There was a reason he left. And then he came back, and they're like, they see him running, and it's like, yeah, let's go. And then they see, like, in the distance, like, one of the guard caravans appear, and they're like, oh shit, that's bad. Alright, hold on. And then they see 2 more guard caravans appear, and they're like, oh no, that's really bad. We can't take that. And Delson, having been with them for the longest, gets a message from Kara using magic, like, go. So they were like, alright, don't need to tell us twice. And they left. Oh god, please no. Sir. Don't hit me with your axe. So they get on their carriage, skiff thing, and leave. And they left Kara behind. Why is the name Kara coming to me? It's so weird. It didn't when I was using this NPC, and now all of a sudden it is. Is it from a video game? Oh god, hold on. This axe guy's doing bad things to me. Alright, there we go. So, I don't actually think I can be evil either. So, then from there, they're like, well, shit, do we have enough supplies to make it south to, it's a decently sized continent, but the top is almost a desert, the bottom is, it's kind of like a big jungle, but all of the trees end at the same height, and it slopes downwards. It's a large basin, and the bottom of it is filled with this, like, magical water. It's, I'll explain a little bit, but, like, do we keep going south the basin, or do we go north to get supplies? It's like, we can't make it there without supplies, so they go actually north to the city in the Vasilix Empire. Now, at this point, only one of the people in the party can speak. Oh, that's the bonfire being scared of the person. Got it. Only one person in the party can speak Vasilix, which is a human dialect, but it's, this continent has been, like, hidden from the rest of the world, so not a lot of other people speak it. But shifters are native to Marask, which is where the Vasilix Empire is. It's Vasilix Empire is the top half of the continent, and the Oracle Basin takes up the bottom half. So they go there and they start, you know, trying to get supplies, and it's like, we don't have money, and we don't have, you know, we don't speak the language. So they were in a little bit of a rough spot, but ultimately they were able to persevere with, you know, they found one or two people who spoke Common. They found, you know, they used the one person who could speak the language as kind of a group face. Where am I going? This way. And they were able to get enough supplies and find enough money to be able to get out of there. But as they were staying at a inn and about to not pay and just leave, like, run out of there, this huge, yeah, heal, whatever, I don't care. This huge dragonborn. I was gonna say, if he does it a third time, I'm just leaving. This huge dragonborn man came down the stairs and just sat next to the door, and they were like, because they were, like, planning on, like, just leaving, and there's just this one, like, tiny girl, like, barkeep, you know, they were like, we can just leave, she won't be able to stop us. This giant dude came and sat by the door, and they're like, oh no. And then a metal automata came down and, like, was, like, right near him, and it was like, oh no. But eventually the Dragonborn grabs a drink and comes over and says, like, hello to the gold Dragonborn, Finnick, in the party. And they're talking for a little bit about things, because they're actually from the same area of the world. And it's like, well, you guys speak Common, and, you know, you're from where I'm from, and I'm looking for a team to escort me south to the base. And they're like, oh shit, that's where we're going. It's like, I'll pay you 1 gem each, which there's different parts of the world sometimes use different currencies. So, long ago, and in the Feywild, they use sickles. In, obviously, the most of the world, they use gold pieces. And then, on Marask, they use, they're commonly referred to as crowns, because that's the second highest denomination. It's one of the more common for trading amongst wealthy people. But, so a gem is like a lot of money, especially to people who don't have anything. So, how the fuck did that work? So they're like, yes, we will do that. A gem apiece? That sounds great. So they partner up with this guy and his metal automata. And they decide, like, okay, well, we'll head out in the morning, and we've got supplies, we've got a skiff, we're good to go, we're cruising. Yeah, come here, rogue. So they all, you know, rest at the tavern, they're chilling. How long has this been going? Jesus Christ, the terrain. Oop. And then they set out in the morning. They're traveling for a long time. This is the most southmost, rather, city in the Oracle Basin. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Not the Oracle Basin. The southmost city in the Vasilix Empire. So they're, you know, pretty close to the border, but it's, you know, decent amount of time away still. So they're traveling for... Did I just break his card? Easy. So they're traveling and traveling, and they're trying to figure out this guy. His name is... Oh, I forget his name. What is his name? I don't remember, it's not too important. It's like, they're traveling, and things are getting weird. Like this one kind of dust devil, twister, sand thing seems to be following them at like a long distance. They're like, what is that? It's like, well, we better avoid it. And so they keep heading south, and this thing keeps following them, getting closer and closer, and they're like, alright, this is bad. So eventually, they kind of pulled up to a stop, and actually they keep going, because they're like, we don't want to fight this, whatever it is. Let's run. Which is a good idea. However, it keeps gaining on them. Eventually, it does catch up to them. And it disappears for a moment before appearing right in front of them and, like, buffeting them all with sandstorm winds and stuff. And it is a large, stone-like dragon. Did he die? And it uses its frightful presence, and then pretty much everybody fails except for the new Dragonborn companion NPC and the Bard. And what is this guy doing? I don't understand. It's like his AI just fucking broke. And the Dragonborn man is like, hey, you know, what do you advise we do after things like growling just being fucking huge there? And it's like, I don't know. So it's like, alright, well, that didn't kill him. No idea where we are. There we go. So where was I? Yes. So it's like, alright, get behind me. And the Dragonborn man's like standing in the front, and Nihilith goes and like hides, and it's like with the rest of his like cowering group, and it's like, alright, what is, you know, what's going on? And all the players are talking, and it's like, oh, I don't know. Dragonborn man says like, twos, protect them, or something. And the metal automata goes and stands in front of, you know, all of them. And the Dragonborn pulls off a large cloak and turns into a tall, angular human man. And it says, "Hello, beastie," as he draws an oblong metal object. And that man starts just firing rounds into the dragon and running around wearing this weird metallic gear-covered armor, and the oblong metal object is a rifle. And Twos puts down like a shield around all the players, and they watch as this Dragonborn man turned into human person just starts battling with this large dragon beast, and they're like, oh shit, what's going on? And eventually he comes back into the little shield and he's like, alright, you guys ready to run? Everyone's like, what? So they all get on the skiff and start pulling away as the Dragonborn man, human person, wish I remembered his name. Gets, starts running, and is running like this big loop of firing rounds over and over into this large dragon, and eventually, meets up with the caravan again. They start driving away, urging Ringo, their beetle, forwards as fast as he will go. in order to attack the tree, buddy. That's fine. In order to like run away from this thing, and eventually, you know, he gets on there and still firing. Eventually, the dragon decides like this is not worth it and turns around. But just getting decently hurt by from this one person. I thought I was gonna get backstabbed there. And check where I am. After that, the players were like, "Who the fuck are you?" It's like, "All right, time for some answers. My name is Mr. Nicholas T. Fairfax." And all my players went, "Oh!" And started like screaming because that is one of the PCs from the last campaign, which was set, I believe it's 78 years past, and he's a human. So everyone was like, "Oh man, you know, we're all gonna be around, but Nick's gonna be dead. You know, it's really, really fucking old, and it's gonna suck." But unbeknownst to all of them, was that the cleric I just beat, or the rogue? That was the cleric, right? Yeah. Unbeknownst to them, as an epic boon, Nick got Boon of the Immortal, or whatever it is, that basically he doesn't age at all. So, and he kept that hidden to them throughout the first campaign. So he was able to surprise them then, you know. He had known he was fine, but nobody else knew that, and he didn't know that he was going to be, you know, appearing in this campaign like this. So everyone was freaking out like, "Oh, Nick's alive, oh my god." So then, you know, they're like, "Alright, well what the fuck is going on?" And Mr. Fairfax explains that that thing is a stone worm, and they are attracted to people of power. Basically, the more powerful, or in game terms, like the more like class levels and artifacts and stuff like that you have with you, the more you are like they're drawn to you because they seek out and like devour power. So he was basically trying to mask himself with all these like low-level people. And he apologized for like, "I'm sorry I deceived you, but you know, I was with a slightly stronger group and it didn't work. So, you know, trying to just get south as fast as I can." Because he was there on and he explains like he was there on a mission to... Could I just try to cast a sword? He was there on a mission to try to become allies with the Basilisk's Empire, because they had just been discovered. You know, he was trying to bring his... Because he's like on the council of his country where he's from. He's like, "I'm trying to bring, you know, the luxuries and comforts of my country out here, you know, help these people, like, better all people." And this guy's fucking annoying. I'm just really bad. And there we go. He's like, and they weren't having it. You know, they're assholes. They're just fucking racist people. If you don't even speak their language, they'll, you know, fuck you. So he's like, then I guess I'll go down to the Argyle Basin and see if I can help them. Alright, good. So that's why he was trying to go south to the Argyle Basin. So he explains this, and it's like, "Listen, you know, if you want, you know, you're new here. Some of you are from where I'm from. You know, we all speak common, you know, we're trying to figure this all out. If you want, I will induct you to work for me. You know, you get paid, you know, we'll work together, trying to do good for people, and then, you know, you guys can, yeah, you know, basic, you know, team up with me, help me do stuff." So they're all like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great, Mr. Fairfax." So he inducts them into his foundation for helping people, whatever. Like, cool. And eventually, they keep traveling south, you know, discussing things, traveling. Eventually, they get to the border of the Argyle Basin and the desert with the Basilisk's Empire. and the border is patrolled by the Basilisk Empire. It's a mountain range, and it's patrolled by them, and it's basically like, you know, where are we going? In Orlando. And it's basically like, hey, you know, we don't let these filthy subhumans south of the border in, but they also don't let you leave to like go trade there and come back. So they patrol it, and they're mostly guarding one side, but you're not allowed to just like traverse back and forth. So they get there, and it's like, all right, what do we do? And Mr. Fairfax is like, don't ask me. I'm just here. You're escorting me. So I wanted to like cement it in my players' minds, like, listen, he is not helping you. You are working for him, and he's paying you. Don't expect the help of a level 20 adventurer previous character. So they all got the memo pretty well. When it was like, what do we do? And he's like, oh, fucking no. So they decided to try to sneak through the tunnel networks under the caves. Mr. Fairfax used a thing and went invisible, and ended up actually going over it while invisible, while the players went through, and they were sneaking up to people, dealing with guards, you know, talking, like imitating other people, and it was actually working fairly well. They kind of carved their way through. They had some slip-ups where they had to like fight a couple people at once, but overall it went really well. And they got a few of their first magic items here when they raided the confiscated items section of the oh fuck. Hold on. These guys are really rough. Did I pull him? No, cool, we're good. I'll resume the story right after I kill these 3 pink things. Oh fuck, that didn't stagger him. Alright. And one more. There we go. So I've got enough for like almost 10 of these. Just kidding, I'm retarded. I'll repair all this. Why am I retarded? There we go. I think I'll go get the modified so I can just upgrade it at the basin. Basin? Oh. Yeah, what is it called? Anyway, so eventually, you know, they're fighting their way through. They get a few magic items, like really low power stuff, like a little bit of fire damage on a sword, or, you know, a little bit of radiant damage for the paladin, like a big hammer. They were like, oh, cool. So they eventually make their way to out the other side, killing like everybody on the inside. Actually, I think they let the sleeping dude live. Did they let the sleeping dude live? I don't remember. They might have executed him in his sleep. I mean, they were terrible people, but I don't think they actually executed him. I don't remember, honestly. This is an unimportant NPC dude. Regardless, eventually they made it out the other side of the tunnels, and out into the Argyle Basin. So the Argyle Basin is, like I said, it's like a depression in the ground. Depression souls, depression in the ground, perfect. This episode's gonna be really fucking long. I'll describe the Argyle Basin, and then I'll cut it in here. Ah, yes. The man, the myth, the legend. So, the Argyle Basin kind of slopes downwards. It's got all these really tall trees. And these trees are kind of like big jungle trees, where they grow like really tall, and they have like the big leafy fronds, but the leaves are actually red, and they've got you know, like a fiery aspect to them. And what happens is, when it rains there, the water going through the leaves produces, it's not really a healing on its own, it doesn't do enough to heal, that way you can like concentrate and make it work, but it's a very, very light healing aspect. When water runs through the leaves, they turn blue, and they, this blue glowing-ish water pools in the basin. So half the basin is underwater. But it's a water that you can breathe, because the healing aspect of it keeps you, like, your body working despite not breathing properly. Vague magic. 200 souls, of course. So because of that, the players are, you know, like, they get in there and they're like, whoa, Ulrich, this is your home. Where go? And so they're trying to go to Ulrich's hometown there. And they get out there and it's like the basin. I didn't finish describing the basin. I get so distracted when playing this game. So, because, you know, part of it's underwater. Ooh, wow. I crush these things now. Because part of it's underwater, there's like aqueous things that live down there a little bit, but the water's like not quite water, it's very, very light, so things tend to sink in it very easily. So it's not really like swimming water, it's weird. But so things like live down in the basin. But a lot of things build out of like the wood from the trees. And there's only two ways to harvest wood from these trees. You can either grow it by using magic to grow the trees out into homes, or by harvesting trees when they're young. Because the trees there, after a couple years, become immortal, actually. And because of this, even if you like try to chop it down, it doesn't work, and if you try to uproot the tree, the entire tree will just reappear in the nearest place that can support it. So, you know, you can't start, they really do become immortal. For all intents and purposes, you know, maybe players will figure out how to stop it someday if they unleash the plague. But regardless, that's one of the reasons the Vassalix Empire has such a heavy guard on the border, is because they keep back this tide of, you know, parasitic trees. So, there's only two ways to get it, is by getting those younger trees, or by growing the trees into the shapes you want. So a lot of things are grown into the shapes of villages and houses way up in the trees, where, you know, they're above the water level, there's bridges that connect them and stuff. So it's a very jungle kind of vibe, but it's very fantasy at the same time. But, you know, the players eventually got there. And that was their goal. And they get to the first, like, little tiny village, and people go out to welcome them. They're like, welcome! And they're like, oh my god, they speak common! And they're just so happy about it, because all of a sudden, all these high charisma characters can speak. And they're like, this is the best thing ever. However, oh, we're going down. However, our story will continue when I return. I'll see you next time.